Fellas, if you find your potential wife, whichever country you go to, I want you to consider observing and vetting the peripherals that surround that particular woman before taking the next step. And although I cannot speak for any particular country due to language and cultural differences, um, I'm going to talk about Madagascar, where I found my wife, which should be able to transfer to other parts of the world. So I built a relationship with one of her uncles, uh, who turned out to be a minister as well. And because I understood to some extent the culture of Madagascar, that they were highly religious people, and they were able to mix their traditional stuff with Christianity without any conflict of interest from a religious perspective, I was able to travel to Madagascar um, with without being too uh, alert, for lack of a better word. Once I landed, I was greeted by my wife along with several members of her family, one of them who also spoke English, an aunt. And while I was there, I was able to understand that the paternal side of her family was the poverty stricken side and the less educated side, whereas the maternal side of her family were fairly well educated, and more affluent than the paternal side, which means that several of them went to college, have great education. Some were teachers, some were um, of course, ministers. Some had regular jobs. They all owned property in some way, shape, or form, from big properties to small properties. Some were even retired mayor of one of the towns. So she had a little bit of affluence and power surrounding her family in that regard. That allowed me to take the next steps, with the understanding that she wasn't poverty stricken, and she wasn't marrying me looking for a come up for herself and her family members, and it allowed me to communicate with her a little bit more to make sure that she didn't wasn't being forced to marry me, and judging by the affluence of her family members, I could make a logical conclusion that she wasn't being forced in the background to marry me. Anyhow, hopefully this information makes sense to you. Like, share it, so other men have access to this information, and put stuff in the comments if you want me to elaborate on another video. You'll have a good day.